Survivor Philippines was an incredible season, and Survivor fans are due for a sequel. Welcome back to Joe Island. Survivor Philippines Season 25 was unique because it brought back 3 Medevac players alongside 15 new castaways, and that twist has never been repeated. So today, I'm bringing it back. I'll be ranking every Medevac from Season 26 onward in a tier list to see who would actually make the cast of a Philippine-style sequel, based on gameplay, memorability, and casting potential. And remember, this is just my opinion, so if you disagree, let me know in the comments. Without further ado, let's dive in. First up is the category I like to call Dead in the Water. These are players that have no shot at being cast in this season. We can start with Caleb Reynolds. I put him in this category. The reason he was Medevac was because he collapsed from a heat stroke when his temperature rose over 110 degrees Fahrenheit during a challenge. He was pulled from the game via helicopter. It was one of the most infamous Medevacs in Survivor history, and he later returned in Game Changers, placing 18th in that season. I think the reason he's dead in the water is because he's already had his second chance on Game Changers, so I don't think they'd bring him back for another season. Next up, I think in the Dead in the Water category, is Bruce from Season 44. He suffered a head injury from the first reward challenge. He was pulled from the game after showing concussive symptoms. He later returned in Season 45, finishing 8th in that season. He's dead in the water for the same reason as Caleb Reynolds. They have both already returned for a second chance, Caleb getting his chance in Game Changers and Bruce getting his chance in Season 45. Next up, we got a category long shots. These are players that have a slim chance, but not zero. First in this category, I put Shamar. He was in Season 26 Caramoan. He was Medevaced in 17th place. The reason he was Medevaced was because there was a sand grain in his eye, which could have caused corneal abrasion that may result in a loss of sight. He was pulled from the game. His chances, in my opinion, are doubtful. He was unnoteworthy, and he was also a bit of a villain on this season, to be honest with you. He created unnecessary conflict. He didn't do work around camp, and he threatened to quit unless other tribe members brought him food, which is crazy to think about. So his tribe mates didn't really like him either. So I don't really think he'd ever be brought back. He's definitely a long shot for sure. Not dead in the water, but certainly a long shot. Next, we've got Neal from Korong. He was Medevaced in 11th place that season. The reason was that he had multiple staph infections deemed too dangerous. He was pulled from the game and he became the first jury member. His chances are slim in my opinion. He's buried in Survivor history all the way back to Korong, and he's a bit of a forgotten character. I don't think he did enough to be quite notable, though he'd be a long shot for sure. But that being said, I do think there's a chance that he ends up returning at some point. Next up, we got Joe Del Campo from the same season as Neal, Korong. He was Medevaced in 5th place. The reason being was he had a urinary tract complication resulting from excessively eating at a food reward challenge. The verdict was that he was pulled from the game and later returned as a jury member. His chances are slim, I think. He was unnoteworthy during his time on Korong. He's also 82 now, so I highly doubt he would want to come back to Survivor, so I'd say he's a long shot for sure. Next up in this category, I put Jackson Fox next to them. Jackson Fox competed in Season 42 of Survivor. He was Medevaced in 18th place. The reason being he had a lithium withdrawal, which was deemed a health risk, and thus he was pulled from the game. I don't think a lot of people will remember him from his season, and because of that, I think that would make him a long shot. So I don't think the fans would be clamoring for him to come back just because they didn't get to know him that well on his time on Season 42. Next category I have are contenders. These are players that have a serious shot at being cast in this season. I'd like to start out with Pat Cusack. I think he's a serious contender. Pat Cusack is from David vs. Goliath, season 36. He was Medevaced in 20th place. The reason he was Medevaced is he suffered a back injury from a boat ride, and he was pulled from the game. His chances are moderate. I think he was memorable because he inspired the theme for David vs. Goliath. There's a big reason to bring him back. I think he deserves a second chance for sure out of most of the people on this list because I feel like he didn't really get to play the game at all. So I do think he's a contender for this season. I think if I had a choice, he'd be on the season. Realistically, I think he's a contender for a season like this for sure. Next up, we got Matthew from Season 44. Technically, he was pulled from the game in 13th place. He suffered a shoulder injury, and he was advised to be pulled from the game, so he agreed. I think his chances are pretty moderate, to be honest with you. He has strategic capabilities, and he's pretty memorable. He shot in the dark tactic, which he used to abstain from the vote to not show his cards. And he also found a hidden immunity idol and planted a fake idol that Jamie ended up finding later on. So he did a lot in the game. I think he's pretty memorable, and I think he has a good chance to be on a season like this at Survivor Philippines 2.0. So I do think there'd be a good chance he would come back, so he's definitely a contender for sure. Next up in this category is Randen from season 46. He was medevaced in 16th place. The reason being, the medical team suspected the pinched nerve could be a bulging disc, so he was pulled from the game. His chances are kind of middle ground, I would say. He has solid potential, and the reason being he has recency bias. He's in the new era, so a lot of people remember him, so there's a good chance that people might want to see him come back to play. He also found a beware advantage and had created a secret alliance with Venus, so he shows that he can play the game, and I do think he'd be a contender to come back for sure for a season like this. Next up, we got our locks. These are players that would for sure make the cut in my opinion. I think no matter what, if they do go with an idea like this, I think they would definitely be on the table for sure. First up, we got Erik from season 26 Caramoan. He also competed in the first Fans vs. Favorites, Micronesia as well. The reason he was medevac that season is his body gave out due to the physical toll of the game, and he was pulled from the game and later returned as a jury member. I think he's a lock for sure. He's a Survivor legend, a Survivor icon. Best known for his infamous move to give Natalie his immunity necklace in Micronesia. This is arguably the most referenced move in Survivor history. This has even been referenced in other shows like Survivor Australia and Big Brother. It's that referenced. This move has gone down in reality TV history. That makes him a certified legend. And they would be fools not to bring him back for a season like this. I think he would be a lock for sure, without a doubt. I think the next person in this category is Terry Dietz. Last played on Cambodia, season 31, Second Chance. He also competed in Panama as well. The reason he was pulled is his son Danny had been hospitalized, and his wife and the doctor insisted he return home for it. He was pulled from the game and returned for the live reunion show with his family and the doctor, and luckily his son had a successful heart transplant, so that was good to hear. I think he's a lock if he ever wants to come back. He's a Survivor legend. He won 5 individual immunity challenges in Panama. He had the Super Idol as well back then, which he played at the Final 4, so clearly he can play the game very well. I think he'd be a lock if they ever want him to come back. The only disadvantage I would see is that he is 66, so maybe he wouldn't want to come back just because he's getting a little older. But I think he's a lock for sure if they ever do a Survivor Philippines 2.0. I think he would get a call for sure, no matter what. And the last person in our lock category is Jake from season 49, the very season currently airing while this is getting recorded. The reason being he was bitten by a venomous snake. The snake bite was a dry bite, but he was pulled from the game for his own physical and mental well-being, so he did end up leaving the game pretty early on. I think he's a lock though if they do this season. There's recency bias. He's literally on the season currently airing. So if they were to do this season soon, he would definitely get a call for sure. I think he'd be a lock just because of that alone. He was also a big presence on the show, despite being there for so few episodes. He was the infamous shoe bandit. So he would steal people's shoes, specifically the person who was going to be voted out next. He did this at least 3 times total. Pretty iconic. He also had 2 number 1s on the Kelly tribe, both Sophie and Alex, and he was very well positioned in his 4-person alliance. I think he was playing the game very well. I think he showed his strategic capabilities very well, and I think he's a lock for sure if they ever do this season. So he'd be in the lock category, without a doubt. And that's our tier list for the Survivor Philippines 2.0 season. I do hope they make a season like this. I think this would be a great idea. But with that being said, that's it for today. If you enjoyed the breakdown, hit that like button and subscribe. Comment below what you want me to cover next, or if you have an opinion on the rankings. And I'll see you next time on Joe Island.